Guys, welcome to Supercross. It's gonna be a little cranky today, so you might want to get that extra special drink and that extra special snack, pick up your feet, relax, call a buddy, get ready to watch something because you're gonna learn something new. So come on in, welcome to Supercross. So guys, you know us for our Speedline carbon fiber cranks. We've been producing carbon fiber cranks. We started back in 2010. We started working with Raceface to engineer what their crank was to make it a BMX crank. Raceface and Easton and all those companies ended up getting sold, and we ended up taking off on our own. And we developed our carbon fiber race crank. And with our carbon fiber race crank, it's a hollow core race crank using a 30mm spindle. It has polished bearing races. It uses a carbon fiber spider, and every single part on it is replaceable. You can replace the spider, you can replace the arm, you can replace the other arm. Now, a lot of people have been nervous about a carbon fiber crank. But with these carbon fiber cranks, the way that we do it with the hollow core system, with the foam core system, we've never had a set of these break. And they're ultra stiff, they're ultra fast, and these things are just badasses. This is what everybody's been running. Now the problem is they get expensive. When you do a full carbon fiber crank, especially when you're using a good material like a Toray T700S, you're using a nano alloy resin, it gets expensive. So we've had a lot of people asking us to do an aluminum crank. So we have these new aluminum spinners. And the aluminum spinners use a lot of the same philosophy and thought process that our carbon fiber crank does, but for half the price. Now there is a little bit of a weight penalty because since it is aluminum, it is going to be a little bit heavier. So this is a full 175mm crank set, which is designed for typical riders, 13 and up, pro size riders. And when we set it on the scale, the full set with all the hardware, you're at 560 grams, which is crazy lightweight. Now this crank set is completely rebuildable, serviceable. Every single part comes apart separately. If you need a new 30mm spindle, you can get a new 30mm spindle. If you damage one arm, you can replace one arm. But they're practically indestructible, and this is what people love about them. But they are expensive because you're looking at a crank set that's over $700. So Mars Strombergs and I had a conversation, and he was like, Bill, he goes, people need a more affordable crank. And I agree, we do need a more affordable crank. And there's a lot of companies that were doing an aluminum crank set, but they would leave it with the backside is opened and then it would crack, it would get filled up with mud, or they were doing some hollow forged cranks, but some of the hollow forged cranks were cracking. So what we've done is we've gone and done a custom forging. So this is a forged aluminum arm, a forged aluminum spindle. It's done just like the carbon cranks, except what we've done is where we made it hollow, we added a carbon fiber backbone. So by adding the carbon fiber backbone, it stiffens the crank and gives you a more structural, stable crank set. I mean, it's going to make it to where you're almost putting out the same power transfer out of a full carbon crank set, but we're going to do it for about twice the weight and about half the cost. So this, as you can see, another 175mm set, and we're at 710 grams. So the one thing that people do notice is that on the full carbon fiber crank, there is no pinch bolt. There is no pinch bolt slot up here. You have to do everything reliant upon torque on the spindle. You have to get the proper Newton meter because this spline has a very slight taper to it, and that's to be able to lock the crank into position. So this takes a little bit of fine tuning. You need to know what you're doing, you need to be able to use a torque wrench, and you need to be able to make sure that you're dialed. The one thing that we did on the aluminum crank is we did it as a split crank with dual pinch bolts. The reason we did this is for ease of usability. These splines are not tapered. It just slides on. Once you get that slid on, you have your compression bolt here that sets your compression. On the compression bolt, we actually even specify what size Allen wrench to use and how tight to get it. Once you have that on, you lock down your pinch bolts and away you go. And with the aluminum, we are doing it in two colors to start. We're starting with a silver and we're starting with a black. Now you will also notice this arm comes off the spindle. So again, this is a full, completely replaceable, serviceable crank set. So this way, anything that you can damage while you're out in the field, you can actually replace. You can get a new spider, you can get a new arm, you can get a new spindle. Now the spindle, you'll see it's marked. It's a 30mm spindle. It's been shot peened for strength. And then we have it marked for left and for right. You'll notice that the splines are different. Now the splines on the right side, the drive side, where we do not have the pinch bolts, does have that same taper that you find on the carbon cranks. Now what makes it easy is to where it'll slide onto the splines pretty easy. Then you take your bolt, and this bolt again, it's marked for a 6mm Allen wrench, and you want to go to 45 Newton meters. So let's grab the 8. We get this tightened into the spindle. Now, I'm not going to do 45 Newton meters because I don't have the torque wrench right here, but now that's on there. Now, what we've also done is to make it to where you can remove this arm, just like our carbon fiber cranks. You have a 1-key release lock ring. And this 1-key release lock ring threads on over your lock bolt, so that when you have that on there completely nice and tight, you leave this lock ring on, and by removing this bolt, it will pull the arm off of the spider, which is exactly the same way that our carbon ones are. To where once you leave these lock rings on, you undo the bolt, it slides the arm off of the taper. That way you don't have to have any fancy crank removal tools. It's very easily serviceable in the field. It's something that at any track, any national, pump track, at the trails, with basic Allen wrenches, you're going to be able to get this handled. So guys, with that, I hope you've learned a little bit of the differences between the full carbon fiber Speedline crank and the new hybrid alloy forged with carbon fiber Speedline spinners. These will be hitting the website for you this week. We're going to have them in black. We're going to have them in polish. We'll have them in all the different sizes, 165s, 167s, 170s, 172s, 175s, 177s. On the carbon cranks, we do whole sizes, 170s, 175s, 180s, 165s. It just makes it easier for us to be able to stock these. With these, since the cost is a little bit lower, we're going to give you guys the options on the sizes, and you're going to be able to split your size. So you're going to really be able to fine tune your cadence and really fine tune your spin in an affordable manner that's going to allow you to put out all the power. So if you've noticed in Lexi's videos right now, she's running these cranks, Gage Gomalicki, Kai White, Oliver Moran. If you look on the bike check that's on the Supercross website for Marius Stromberg's, he's running these. These cranks have been over 2 years in production because we wanted to make sure that they were perfect. We actually changed the forging tool a couple of times to really optimize the strength and optimize the weight reduction to make sure that you're getting the strongest, lightest, best performing crank on the market. And now you can head on over to your favorite Supercross or Speedline parts BMX dealer, and you're going to be able to pick them up. So while you're at it, call a buddy, tell them you're heading to the shop, you're going to pick up some new cranks, and you're going to go ride. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.
I know what I like, baby, I like you. Miss American Pie with the high IQ. Oh my.